Well, welcome, guys. We're here. We're here again. We're live.
Hello.
Who is this?
I'm Ricardo.
That's Ricardo. Welcome, Ricardo. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ricardo.
Thank you so much.
Ricardo, tell us, who are you? What's going on?
I am a Portuguese guy that just moved to Malta like a year ago.
Yeah.
28 years old. Hi.
This is great. No, I'm kidding. Of course, Ricardo is a very good friend of mine. And he's a great guy. He's from Portugal. Everything he said was true.
Thanks, man.
Plus, there's more, which we will find out today about. All kinds of interesting stuff. And we got all kinds of interesting things to talk about. But what's going on with you, Stefcho? How are you, man?
Only terrible, horrible things. I
Okay,
got
that's
hit.
enough. Now,
and
let's...
then I have to tell my sad
go ahead.
story. Someone hit me in Greece and I left my car there. And that's...
What? I'm
How?
acting surprised. I know what happened.
I don't know. Yeah.
But
What-
okay, Ricardo doesn't know.
I have no idea what
Go ahead,
happened.
talk to
hit
Ricardo.
it really hard with some smart while making a U-turn. It's ridiculous. Some retarded
What the
shit.
fuck?
but
Really?
With a smart?
With the fucking smart car, even the small
I
ones.
destroyed it.
That's like being hit by an M&M, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, but those cars are very tough. They have like a really tough skeleton, like the old chassis thing, kind of.
Apparently they...
So it's normal that
Yeah, but...
they're like a fucking wrecking ball.
Yeah, but apparently it accelerates really fast because it did that in like 3 meters. He really badly fucked my car. But anyway, I mean it will get fixed maybe after 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Well,
Nicely done.
to be honest, Stefcho has the worst luck with cars. Ever since, this is what, your second car?
Yeah. I mean it's not that many.
Right.
But, it's last year.
Well,
Yeah.
since last
maybe
year.
by the 20th, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but Ricardo, what about you? Are you a good driver? Do you have you had cars in your life in the past?
I did. I had 2 cars in total. My first one lasted 9 years, and my last one was also a smart car. That's why I actually know a bit about it.
You had a smart.
I had a smart car last.
Did you sell it to someone in Greece, a woman with a questionable intelligence?
Yes, I did.
Not that I want to be sexist, but okay.
That's how. That's how
That's
your
how it
car
happened.
got wrecked. Sorry, Stefan.
We found a causal connection.
makes
Everything
sense
is
now.
connected, you know. It's much like, you know, it's funny. This is what I wanted to talk about, by the way. Quantum entanglement. It seems like Ricardo entangled this car in a quantum entanglement, and it connected. Yeah, it got this connection, made everything possible. Do you agree with me, Stefcho?
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about quantum entanglement, of course. Quantum entanglement, as we all know, but just a quick reminder, is you know, that incredible quantum phenomena when particles, but it also happens. This is the funny part. So at first they thought it only happens with small particles, like we know the subatomic particles. Then they proved it happens on atoms and even on molecules, even
happens?
big
What
molecules. It also happens, and what it does is that when these particles are created in one place together and then they're being disconnected over a vast distance of space, the moment you observe one of those particles, you inevitably affect the other particle. So as you know, these particles have certain characteristics, like a spin, for example. So you watch one particle, it assumes a spin, and at the very same time the other one assumes the appropriate spin, so that it keeps the entanglement, as if they're communicating with each other, which is impossible because it will violate the relativity laws, and in the law of relativity, which, you know, the fastest speed possible is the speed of light. But it appears that in a faster way, these particles communicate with each other and exchange information, which is pretty mind-blowing. So this
No,
is what
that's not
happened.
that I
The
mean,
moment that you were in Greece,
about this last light thing, you know, gravity, it works faster than light.
What?
Gravity is faster than light, so it's not...
did you disagree with me right now?
No,
You're
I
fired.
mean, that's not... Anyway. It's not that special about the
That's
light.
what. No,
Go
go
for
ahead. Tell us, man. If you have another theory that's different
Because
than
I
Einstein,
actually-
I think now is the time that you tell us, because maybe this is the chance that you will make a breakthrough. It hasn't been for 100 years that people came up with it.
Sure. I'm not sure I understood what exactly you said. They get entangled and spin in the same way. They spin the same
Okay,
way.
what happens is
Do you know
have
how many
these two-
particles they have to be entangled in my car and in Ricardo? So that...
Yeah, a lot of
them.
particles. But the funny thing is that exactly It's exactly what happened. Otherwise, how would you explain it? How would you explain it otherwise?
It's
Tell
called
me.
coincidence.
Right.
What is this
Well,
weird
it's
noise?
not all coincidence. I'm going to tell you what happened
you
exactly.
Boiling
it's a
some
ve-
tea or something?
It's a very simple. Yeah, exactly. We're some tea. I think the tea is ready, but Kieran, can you get the kettle? Please. All right. So what happened was scientists. Now there's some new development. So at first we thought that this was only over a large distance of space, but now we know it also happens across time. In 2013, I think it was in some university in Israel that some scientists discovered that the entanglement also affects particles in different. Like if you had an entangled particle, and you had another pair of entangled particles, but in different space, like in different time. Like first you had one entangled pair, and then you destroy one of the particles, and then you have another one. It entangles with the previous pair, which is fucking mind blowing. It can travel back in time. I mean, the implications of this are such that it is possible theoretically that you can, for example, observe a star in the sky, and the moment you watch it, you interact with the entangled particles of this star 3 billion years ago so that it emits light and you can observe it in that very moment. This is fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Right. So, and just to explain, so of course this is
That's
crazy
like in
and
games
this
to
would
save RAM,
change.
you know.
Yep.
In games they do it to save RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so therefore you just helped me get to my main point today, which is we all live in a simulation.
What the fuck?
Because otherwise, how would you explain it?
Explain
And
what?
you know how in simulations, like you play
Explain the
GTA and you
entangled-
hit the car
Wait, what do you
and
mean?
it's dead.
How do you explain the entangled particles?
No, I mean, no. How would you explain that there are so many outcomes, but you are living only one of them, for example?
Yeah, and I think it's
Who said
much
there are many?
like the whole particle thing. The star 3 billion years ago, that wasn't so impressive as much as the smart hitting your car. That was more impressive to me because I remember when I was
No,
playing
but why
GTA 5, there were some
Yeah,
smarts.
but why would it mean that I'm living in a simulation?
Because if there is a simulation like GTA 5 that had smarts in it,
No, but that's not the only explanation.
No, of course,
Of course
not. No. It could be an.
but it's only the most logical. So
Why?
I mean, there's no other way. I'll tell you, there's many reasons. Okay, let's go over some of the reasons. First of all, this entanglement of the particles. Like you said, one explanation is because what happens is the moment you observe in quantum physics, you have this phenomena that the moment you observe something, you affect it, as if the
Yeah, I understood it.
very
But why would this mean that?
you know also the outcome. You also know the
First-
outcome of it.
yeah, but
You
only the
know
moment you observe it. Like
Yeah,
if you
correct.
don't observe it, it's the Schrodinger's cat.
the
It's
Schrodinger's cat.
at
That's
the
the
same
principle
time,
of the Schrodinger's
It's
cat.
alive and dead at the same time
how would
until
they
you
prove it?
actually open the
Observe
box.
it. Yes.
But that sounds unprovable.
Well,
No, it's
it is actually very. I mean, this is when Einstein discovered this, he was still alive. He couldn't believe it when he discovered the entanglement of the particles, like what I described over space. He called it spooky action at a distance, and he thought it's impossible because it's against his principle, against the theory of relativity. And he said we're wrong. Quantum physics is wrong. 30 years later, it was proved for a fact in the 60s. I forgot the name of the guy, but he proved it. And it's now we know it's for a fact. And there are these experiments with the slits when they beam a particle, and some of those particles, like light, for example, the photons can at the same time be a particle and a wave, right? Which is another weird thing in quantum physics, right? So the way they do it is they beam them through a specific device without observing them, and they have to have a specific behavior in order to pass through this gate, like through the slit or whatever. So it either has to be a particle or a wave or something. Mm-hmm. And then they observe them, and then it's the opposite. So now they know for a fact that this was something else the moment before, because otherwise it wouldn't pass. So you observe them, and a certain percent of the time they randomly become a wave, and then they randomly become a particle. But before that they were the opposite. So we know that they were, because otherwise they wouldn't be here. So this is crazy stuff. And one thing is, like you said, in games, as you know, if you don't watch something, if it's not in front of your eyes, just like you said, to preserve RAM, it doesn't happen. It's like it's freezed. It doesn't exist. Any possibility exists until you actually turn around and look at this object, right? But at the same time, there has to be some information exchange because you got to play the game and you do something that affects objects that are in the freeze mode or in the dark. And then when you turn around, some other outcome happens. So this is how they exchange the information, and they remain entangled, even though
I don't see why would you think this is the only explanation that they.
For sure it's not the only, but it's very interesting, and because the more and many other quantum phenomena are also explained, are inexplicable to us, but sometimes fit all kinds of simulation theories, which is very interesting, especially like with the multiple dimensions and all these fucking weird things.
Multiverse.
How many of us are simulated, and why is it discount? All of us are simulated. Why do?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? How many of us are simulated? So. Some people say it's just like a math game, in the sense that if there is a simulation, then there has to be really just one universe capable of creating such a realistic simulation. There might be more, but let's assume there's one civilization in this universe that creates this simulation. But once you create this simulation, you can instantly create numerous, simulations, right? It's like, imagine you go on Mars and you see a smart. And you go, wow, they have smarts on Mars? You won't assume this is the only smart on Mars. You will assume, well, if I see a smart, they're probably older cars and shittier cars, all kinds of cars, because, This
thing that you said that about observing, they have to simulate it for someone, like someone has to observe it, right?
Correct.
Yes. Or, I mean there has to be some reason, but...
That's what I meant, like...
Well, this is the point. For sure, they're less than us. So, if you create one simulation, in that simulation you have multiple NPCs.
Number of souls or points that you have to, it's different universes for everyone. They have to create a different one for everyone.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So
how
what's
many
your
are
point?
we? Is it only mine? Are you a simulation now?
No, you don't have a reason to believe.
In one universe, it could actually only be yours, and the rest is NPCs, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can even argue further, because we always, when you think about the simulation thing, the first thing pops into our mind is, especially in our generation, is the Matrix. But the Matrix has a different premise. The Matrix is the idea that there is a simulation, but we are as living beings in that simulation. But that doesn't have to be the case. We can be completely virtual beings. We can be the NPCs, and there are no players.
No,
for example, it could be a simulation.
No, come on, you don't understand me.
No, not really. I mean, there has to be
yourself-
someone who interacts with it
Let's
or
imagine
creates
that
it.
you're not a simulation, so you're a point in the universe that it has to be simulated for. Like, have to be the point that gets some results, that interacts with it, right? Otherwise, the other part shouldn't exist. Like you read a book about some samurai. There's no samurai. He doesn't exist. Like, it's autobiography, for example. But
So
the thing is, he doesn't exist.
It could be the
he
case.
doesn't exist, but you exist. So he just gets generated this information, right?
Yes.
How many are there? How many points are there? Like you, like if you're a point, a point for generation, because everything outside you is then generated and it's not real, right? So, but there is you that gets generated.
I don't know, man.
But that's the thing. But no,
it gets generated for you.
You're saying, wait a second, I'm not understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when you say I'm a point of generation, like I am a mind that everything I perceive is fake. Like, in other words, it's the game is around me, but I'm the player of the game. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. You're the.
But what if this is not the case? What if I am part of the game? I mean, okay, but that's okay. I agree with you. Let's check this out, because it's an interesting scenario. So, in your scenario, I'm the reason, I'm the sort of the input in the game, and everything else is the output.
No,
like the samurai I'm reading a book about was just generated for me.
You're not simulated. Everything is simulated for you. You get
okay.
You're the center of it. I mean, that's how you define existence.
And this is very interesting.
That's what you define by something existing. Because if I'm a point and I'm the only point, you don't exist. You're just a voice right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
if
that's exactly right.
Points, then maybe now we're making a real conversation.
Yeah, well, we don't know. This is a very interesting point you're bringing. So there could be like you said in one of the other episodes in the NPC theory, that there's a certain amount of real players and the rest is NPC.
Yes. These are the things that the players are observers. They get information.
Right. But also it could be another case. Also it could be a case in which like you're watching a wallpaper of let's say, you remember early in the day with the Windows XP, you had this wallpaper of an aquarium and had this fish moving around. Imagine, well, in this scenario, all the fish are NPCs, right? There's no player there. And the only interaction with the master is the master is looking at the screen, right? So imagine that this is the case. And this whole universe is a simulation where everything is fake. For some reason, could be amusement, just like watching the screen.
That's what I meant,
Could be some...
But it's fake. It's
Well,
fake for them.
you didn't mean this, but anyway. Yeah,
exactly.
So okay. So in this case, there's no real players. There's only fakeness. Everything is code. Okay, everything is not real. And so when this is the case, then there's very interesting questions to me because I mean, if this is a very, 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 very intelligent system, so much so that these fish in this aquarium at some point can evolve and have consciousness and even self-conscious, be conscious enough to start asking questions and kind of examine the the aquarium they swim in and all that, like we are doing in a sense, and we discover something that's very weird, like quantum physics and all these entanglements and stuff, and we have no explanation for it because we observe it. It has no, but it has no meaning for us because it's sort of like we get to the bottom of it. We see the code and we don't know that it's a simulation because we don't know that language that the code is written in, and it confuses us. So in that sense, the quantum mechanics could be the very code of our universe, and it could be weird to us because it was created by some other creatures, other dimensional creatures or more complicated creatures that simply we're not capable of understanding, or at least yet, that code and to see our true origin. You know what I mean? Right. And let me take you further that, because just like if you have a real fish, it's more intelligent than the NPC fish on the Windows XP wallpaper. So it will understand at some point, will have the idea, okay, I'm in a tank. Some fish get attached to you. They know when you're coming home, when you're going to feed them. They know where they are. They know they're in a tank. So imagine we can one day discover this. And then the question is, what happens then? And then if you come back to the Matrix story, then will there be a Neo, and what function will this Neo have when there are no real people? There'll be a pretty depressed Neo, because think about it. You realize you're a simulation, but at the same time you realize you can't get out of it, because by definition, first of all, even if you make a way to transcend, you'll probably be super primitive. You'll be like those fish on the aquarium. So you'll be like unfit for that real world, whatever the real world is. So you can either destroy this world, or I don't know, try to at least communicate, ask questions like, why were we created? And then an answer is someone was bored and wanted to look at the screen.
But then we already had our Neos. That's the thing.
We did?
Yeah.
Who? Jesus?
For example, who knows if Jesus was not one of the Neos of our,
maybe, but then
of our story.
But if
Gandhi was one of our,
maybe
all of the historical figures that actually had
who cares?
Had a real impact.
I mean, who cares really?
No, I care because listen. Because
imagine it's simulation or it's not. Like, what's the difference for you? Why do you care?
Exactly.
Well, the difference is
how will it change your life? That's what I mean.
It will defend how it will actually
I will explain
perceive it, how you see things.
So how
you had all of these historical figures.
Yeah, but
exactly.
The thing is,
you will have a mindset change.
But should you? I mean,
you don't know. You don't know the outcome of your simulation. That's the only thing that you are really looking forward in this life.
But really, what's the difference between real and not? Like, what would it be?
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I'll tell you. Your point is cool. That's called nihilism.
No, it's not nihilism.
That's what some people always argue. They say, "What's the fucking point?" Right? But there is a point, and I'll tell you why.
No, that's not what I meant.
No, listen. No, this is what you meant. Like, it doesn't matter. Is what you're saying, right? Or no?
Yeah. What I mean. Yeah. I guess.
That's that's what you said. But no, if you said something else, correct me. But what I'm saying is, it depends on one thing that it depends on.
I'm nihilistic. I mean, like, logically, what's the?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. But the point is, if everyone was like this, there'll be no motivation probably, unless it was hard coded. Everyone.
No, I mean, what the fuck, man? I mean, everything we did now is because we thought we're real.
No, imagine now tomorrow you read in the news, we prove now, science proved that we are in a simulation.
And that for now it was fine for us for not knowing that. We progressed.
Yeah, but tomorrow is not going to be fine anymore.
The thing is, it gets worse from here. Everyone will want to
Yes,
suicide.
true. Yes, absolutely.
Something.
I mean, it's you know what? I'm going to tell you a
It's
story
wrong
because I was
everything.
listening to Joe Rogan today.
I
Listen,
like my
I'm going to
life.
give you a very good example.
Stop getting into this. Someone has killed you. I like it
No,
now,
no, listen,
man.
I'm going to.
What are you complaining about?
Jesus, I'm not complaining about anything. I wanted to
Come on,
tell you
you're
a
in
story.
Malta.
Listen,
I'm here in this shithole.
what the fuck? Man, listen, chill. I don't know. Have a drink, have something, eat something, and relax. I want to tell you something. I'm not really ruining your life, but I mean,
Why do you
we
wanna?
may not be in a simulation.
Oh, but
We may be actually free. Don't worry about it. We'll see. We don't know for a fact. I'm gonna talk with him afterwards. Gonna relax. Anyway, so, but my point is this: if we are,
If we are a
first of all, no,
simulation.
first of all, let me finish my point because you said what does it matter? It doesn't matter. And then how would it
But it
change?
does, but
How
it
would it
does.
change? He says if I'm explaining for Kieran and also for myself because I start suddenly forgetting. I don't know why. But so what he said was, if today we're happy and tomorrow we read on the news that we're in a simulation, then why shouldn't we be still happy?
We
so
should.
Okay,
so
so
this
what
is
will
I'm
be-
going to
what
give you an
will
example
change?
from the animal
Yeah, but
kingdom.
what will
I will
change?
still.
I'll tell
I will
you.
Still have my
I'll tell you an
input.
example.
I will still
Okay.
have my input afterwards because this is all matters. Never.
Okay, listen, I'm going to give you a very interesting example. So, I was listening today about this story. There was and it's actually a really interesting experiment with monkeys. People were giving rewards to monkeys, and they were making a game. The game was a monkey should give you a pebble, and the monkey gives you a pebble, and if she gives you a pebble, then you give her a cucumber. And monkeys really like cucumbers, so the monkey's happy, and she goes ahead. Do you know the story? Okay, check this out. So then the monkey does it, but then next to it, there's another monkey. And this monkey doesn't have shit. That monkey's new to the game. The monkey just came over. So this monkey, they treat differently. And they say, listen, you give us pebbles, but we're going to give you a fucking grape. And now monkey likes fucking cucumber, but it likes grape much more. So this monkey sees the fucking other monkey getting the cucumber, the fucking grape. And the first monkey with the cucumber that's been doing this for like a month already was fucking best cucumber monkey. Fucking throws the cucumber. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? Fuck this cucumber, whatever. Gets angry at the guy who gave a thingy, a grape to the other monkey. This is what happens like, you're at work, you're happy with your salary. Tomorrow you learn what your friend next to you is making, and all of a sudden you hate your job. You know what I mean? So for some reason it affects things. I don't know why, but we're like this. We're humans. So this is our simulation, at least. This is how nature works in this simulation. So
I'm
if
not sure
it
it's the
happens
same.
tomorrow
I
that
don't
we
think
find
it's
out
the
that we are in the simulation, then most people will be pretty bummed out, man. Maybe you'll be okay. And you'll be like, hey guys, let's go party. But I'll be like, fuck you, man. I'm gonna fucking party at this fucking.
No, because
gonna
everything is the
poison
same. It
myself
has
and
always
then-
been this way. I mean, nothing changed.
Yeah, but
you're
here's
happy
where
yesterday.
you're not right. Here's where you're not right. It's not about happy or sad. It's about how this changes the purpose and the point and the point of life. Because then people are gonna be bummed out, but then they're gonna get really excited and they're gonna be, listen, we know this and it's pretty fucked up, but maybe there's a way out. Maybe we can improve the simulation. If we know it is, we can change the rules. Maybe we can talk to the master so he can put us in a better simulation. Maybe we do this, maybe that. Maybe we'll find out finally why we created all this. It'll be a great new frontier. And if you're like this, what
No,
does
I
it
mean,
matter,
now
man?
I-
What does it
now-
matter?
now
You'll be
you
fucking
make-
partying and everyone will be fucking changing the
make more
universe,
sense,
man.
yeah.
It'll be,
And now the Neos appear.
and now let's get back to the
but-
Neos.
Okay, but the thing is, anyway, it's
No, go
important
ahead.
to be happy if you ruin everyone's life, next generation.
I think it's more important to have a purpose than be happy. Happy is fragile. Happy is like comes and goes. Sometimes you don't have an effect on it. Purpose is much more reliable. So if you come up with this is my goal, this is my dream, this is the purpose of this whatever endeavor, then it's better than happy or sad.
I disagree with
I think.
both in half. I think everyone needs to be just chill and happy and do whatever they want in order to succeed in what they want to succeed in.
Yeah,
It's a mixture of happiness and goal. Why not both?
exactly. And those are some wise words coming from Ricardo. Ricardo from Portugal. Ricardo, let's get back to you for a second. Let's break this whole fucking sadness of the simulation. Let's ask you something.
Tell me.
You are in a very interesting company today because I'm half Polish, half Bulgarian. Stefcho is half Bulgarian, half Ukrainian. Is that right? Yeah. And you are?
I'm half Portuguese, half Angolan.
God damn it, man. So many. It's like 25 nationalities between us. And Kieran, I don't even want to ask. It could be 28 at this point. I don't know. No, I'm going to ask you after. But the point is, so we are this real compilation of people. And so your mom was Angolan.
Yes.
That's a black woman or a white woman? Was she like her?
Mixture already, because she's also half Portuguese and half Angolan.
Okay. So my question then is, which part of the family did you get your dick from?
That part, it will remain a secret.
All right. That's a proper gentleman answer.
Yes.
And that's how you should be. So meanwhile, Neo in the Matrix here. So to just kind of give you an idea what I'm saying here, how this will change the Neo scenario, depending on whether they're real players or not. Imagine if we are all just simulation, all NPC, right? All code. This would be incredible, because then if we discover, if we say part of this program, let's get back to the fucking wallpaper with the fish. It's a really powerful wallpaper, so powerful that, like I said, the fish becomes self-conscious and it starts seeing the quantum physics of the tank, right? And then the fish, once it sees the code. So, by the way, we're still not at this level. So if this was the case, we're still at the level where we can just observe things, but we don't understand them, which is, we haven't been there for quite a while. We've been there many, many years ago when we were watching the sky and hiding in our caves, and there was a thunderstorm, and we were like, what the fuck happened, man? There must be someone out there, like a god of thunders, throwing thunder. Then we started figuring things out very, very well, to the point where for a long time we felt like, even by the moment that quantum physics came along, we almost figured out all physics. We're close to a theory of everything, man. Once we cracked this science, man, we got to pick up another science. And then they see this, and for the first time in so many years, they're back to just seeing and being like, what the fuck is this?
Imagine that the simulation that we're in is not that complicated for us to be able to discover that it's one.
Yes,
it's
but I have an argument, a counter argument.
We are already speculating about it
because
and
of
we'll
course
maybe
it is
forever
possible.
speculate, because maybe it's not possible to discover if we are or not.
It is.
Absolutely right, but you're okay. There are two things that you said. First, you said maybe it'll never be possible. Absolutely,
mathematically,
maybe
it's not possible.
Mathematically,
the
maybe
desktop
even
fish
physically.
or simple code, they can't do it. Maybe we're simple
yes,
code too.
you know code, so you're
but maybe
we're a developer.
The thing is, what if we are simple too and we can't discover? Like, it's not possible.
Exactly right. Exactly
we
right.
To shatter the next.
So what I'm saying is that only in this scenario where there's fishes,
like mathematically, it's not possible.
Okay, so you're saying there's no system that will allow for such intelligence that will kind of
like
self-discover.
The fish on your desktop, they won't discover it because they're really simple. They're just squares.
But what if you have like a super powerful desktop where it doesn't matter?
Just more complicated squares, but we need to be more complicated to be able to discover.
Yeah. So isn't it true that theoretically there'll be one level of complicatedness where it's possible?
It's true.
No.
I mean, it's true. Okay.
Should be.
Yes, there might be. Yes,
it's ever growing. It's ever growing.
There probably is some level where it's possible. But what if we're not at that level?
Yeah, I agree with you. So, if we're not at this level, then forget about it. But I think, what if we are? Because even by raising the question and every day understanding more and more about it, like over history, because certainly the apes have not asked themselves, this question. And if you look back, apes at some point, like chimps even, they don't have a full consciousness. Like, they don't understand, I'm a chimp and my thoughts are different than other chimps' thoughts. Sometimes they have this thing, like with kids, when they think, a kid thinks something and starts smiling at you and you smile back, and the kid is thinking, oh, he must think the same thing that I think, because it doesn't occur to the kid that there's another consciousness out there. Only at the age of about 4, the kid develops this consciousness that, oh, you have thoughts that I don't have. It happens very much earlier for kids with siblings, because they figure out, oh, you like these chocolates, I like these, you're a different person, right? It's not the same thought inside here. But other animals that don't have this, and the animals that we evolved from didn't have it. So maybe there's a hope for us, because it seems like we're in some sort of system that keeps evolving, which the fish in the tank didn't. So there's hope that at some point, if the hardware keeps up with this evolution, then we're going to get to a point where we're going to be, oh, wait, now we know we're a code.
Right, but then the question is when?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's also
no
possible.
idea.
But it's also possible that,
Okay, so one possibility never happens, right? Or not even never happens, but it's against the possibility of happening because either, like you said, mathematically it's improbable, or it's hard-coded in the system that all the NPCs will never have the ability to look at themselves as NPCs or for some other reason. But let's assume that we are in this evolving system and there is a point in which we reach this point. I think we're at the very brink of such a possible point if this was the possibility, because we are at the point where we observe it.
Word for it. You mean not the NPC, the other thing. Player.
Okay, so we observe this and we don't know what it is. It's very much like, imagine, this is how incomprehensible it is for us, the quantum realm. Just like imagine there's a two-dimensional universe, like this table. You see, Ricardo? Mm-hmm. And on this two-dimension, there's an X and Y dimension. And there's creatures like these ants that live on this two-dimensional space. All of a sudden, I observe them. I'm the creator of this universe. They don't see me because they don't have an idea of a third dimension. So they just see this. They don't see this. But I watch them, man. And I watch them on the monitor. And one day, I just get angry and I do this with my hand and just touch I place it firmly on the table. When I do this, ants will now see that shit. A very huge part of the universe disappeared out of nowhere, just disappeared. It's the shape of a hand. They can walk around the hand, but they can never go through it, or they don't understand. They don't see me even. They don't know that there's another creature in another hand and all this. What happens here is, this is where we are. We see the hand, but we don't know if it's a hand. What is it? Are there any tables out there again? Right. So this is where we are now. But possibly we will get to the point where once we decode there's a scene. Oh my God! Yesterday, because I was thinking about all this shit, I watched The Matrix again. Remember the first Matrix? There was a scene in which Neo, who just recently got out of the Matrix, he just puked, popped, whatever they call it in the movie. He's like, oh, this is not true. It's impossible. Then he goes to sleep. Then he wakes up the next day and he goes to, forgot the name of the guy who was the traitor, the guy who traded them in the first part, who wanted to give Morpheus away. Yeah, anyway, so this guy, he goes to him, and this guy's looking at a screen and he sees the code in the Matrix, and Neo goes there and goes like, wow, how do you understand this? And he goes, well, for you this looks like code, but for me it's like, this is a hot chick walking down the street and this is this whatever, because it's like a language. He knows the code, the alphabet, and has a dictionary, and he can translate it, right? So if we have this code, we would possibly translate quantum physics and see that shit, it's a computer code describing our universe. It is a code. And then once we do this, potentially, if this is possible, here's what was very interesting. Once we do this, we're going to find a shitload of information in this code outside of us, because we're going to find out parameters such as in the computer you have, like what is the maximum CPU power that this game can handle, how many screens it should display, how many resolution of the display, some fucking hardware information. Not only this, you will get information that there's inputs, like there's letters in the keyboard. You will know exactly how many letters, what letters where. You'll be like, shit, there's a keyboard that someone presses. There's something that causes these things to come up and affect the program. So then all of a sudden you have a realization of the hardware of your universe and that there might be something outside of it. This is fucking mind-blowing. So once you have this information, then what you can do is, first of all, even within the computer, it's a mind-blowing moment, because what if you were in the tank and then you realize, well, it's a shocking shitload of gigabytes of memory left. Some of it is taken maybe by other tanks. And then you make a small revolution. You organize those intelligent fish to make a virus. It comes out of the program, then takes away all the other programs. Now you have all the computational power of this computer like it's yours. Now you control it. And you can control it so well that you can exert certain amount of force on the actual outside world. Like you can overclock the CPU and burst down. Or you can do some shit, or you can display the message on the screen because now you know the alphabet and you know the words, so you can communicate with the fucking person. You can display a message, hey man, I know you created me, or whatever. Fuck, you can go on his Facebook and read about the master race that created you and their Facebook friends and their everything, man. But how fucking crazy would that be, huh?
Yes, but then you would be back to the Stefan theory. Which one of us is the dot that is able to do that?
I'm saying this is if there's no dots. Imagine there's no dots. It's just a computer.
No, yeah, but that dot. Personification, exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing.
No, someone created it, like a person
outside. To
outside.
generate something, there has to be someone to generate it for. not just generating the air.
Yeah, but I mean, how many programs are running without, like, in the background? You don't even, or just so you can. Well, okay, let's say it's a recording program.
Someone initiated them. Not even if it was recursive. It's still another program running another program.
Okay, imagine. Okay,
So there's a source.
I gave you a
source.
wrong example. Imagine that instead of a fish tank, we have an ant nest. Imagine there's a program. The moment you turn on the program, there's a huge ant nest with millions of ants, and these ants are working and they're computing things.
Is this what
Ants.
is like in the simulation?
Ants.
The
Ants
small
nest.
bug. The small bug. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
the
In the
insect.
simulation. No, in the simulation, it would be.
So it's a copy of the real world. Imagine we take our example. I go in. I'm a developer.
There would be a low programming language from our own right now. So there would be a very low simulation of what the human capability is.
Yeah, but check this out. Games get better and better, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm telling you ants, and you think zeros and ones, this ant is going to be more kind of elementary than the real ant, right? But we get closer and closer to making these ants more and more fucking realistic and better until a point comes where we can fucking create maybe not an ant nest, but with all the computers on Earth, just one fucking ant. Just perfect. Down to the fucking quantum level. You know, every molecule of this ant is perfect, just as if it's on the outside world. Where if we can do an ant, we can do a fucking human brain. Mm-hmm. And that human brain can experience things. And this is something similar to the Boltzmann brain idea. That why fucking universe? Where you can create a brain in which you have the experiences of universes. Like you experience the universe, you know, through your brain. So, you know, do you know the Boltzmann brain thing, Stefcho?
The what?
The Boltzmann brain theory.
Boltzmann brain? I don't even understand.
Brain. So the Boltzmann guy was a pretty fucking genius guy. Was a physicist for like the 19th century. Was one of the last great physicists, and he came up with some pretty important stuff. Like for example, you know, he was the guy who came up with the fact that inside gases we have particles that are randomly moving in different directions, right? So no one before him realized this thing. Everyone was thinking, oh, gas, it must be, I don't know, a mesh of some sort of particles. But this is, no, they're randomly moving. They're not connected.
No, they're not randomly. It's
they're randomly moving,
parts that move randomly are called brown parts or something.
Okay, well, yeah, but you know my idea. It's not like a... Okay, and then from this point... how is it? It is absolutely random in a gas. So there are parts of which were not random, but
there's
the
some
remaining
reason for it
parts
to happen. It's not just random. Like some other particle pushed it.
Jesus, man. Okay, let's say we have a gas. There was a reason for it. It got created.
Yeah, okay.
And now the particles are moving randomly, right? What do you mean? You mean they were forced by, I don't know, heating up the gas in a certain way, and because it was heated up from this direction, it started moving this way? Is this what you mean?
Yeah,
well,
you can predict it.
Of course.
It's not random.
Okay. So why disagree with me just to make me angry? I don't know why. I know I understand you, but it's not a relevant point. It's true, but you know. So we assume that everyone knows what you're saying. So we have this gas, and everything is moving randomly, and then we have entropy. You know entropy, the concept of entropy, which is there's high and low entropic points. So in entropy, which means that you know, this is so random, this movement of parts, that there is a possibility, no matter how distant, that let's say in one point all the particles will form a perfect hologram of a dick, for example, or in one other situation they'll all be in one point, and
they're not randomly moving.
No, they're moving randomly. No. It's a definition. Just Google it. You know, you have a random pattern, and you just have a gazillion other outcomes, and one of the outcomes is a dick.
No, that's not
right.
True.
Tell me when I'm wrong.
I don't know. There is no
Explain
pattern
to
in
me.
randomness.
I'm telling you. No. I'm telling you. Random means anything. Let's say random between 0 and 10. It's any number between 0 and 10.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, use this with an example of a room full of air. Air has particles like the molecules of air, or the different elements inside, whatever, I don't know, oxygen and nitrate and whatever, carbon dioxide, all of that. And these particles are randomly moving across the room, random motion. So there's one case in which there's this way, you know, like this particle is here, this particle is at the wall, this particle is over there, and there's like gazillion of particles. So there's one chance in a gazillion when all of them will be together and form the dick.
Like regularly or what?
I don't know why am I repeating myself. What?
Like regularly or what?
No, not regularly. Like it's just a
Okay,
statistic.
at some point,
like,
maybe,
obviously,
okay,
would
at
never
some
happen.
point, if it happens once, what do you mean?
Jesus, man. Let me find it and I'll send it to you because I mean, oh no, actually I'll read it to you because you don't understand. Okay. I don't know why I need to. Well, you can say, okay, I trust you, like I believe you, because this is science. You can say something like this. No, you have to argue with me.
No, but
It's random, but the thing is, it has a start and it doesn't have an end. What you can just put. I don't know.
Anyway, Stefcho, we don't have time for this.
No, but the thing is, I get it. I get what he's saying, because if you know where the source comes from, for example, where does the gas come from, and what are the conditions of the living room and everything around it, you can predict the pattern of the smoke.
Okay,
but
I absolutely agree.
The problem that Bogi explained, it's a bit weird because it's not saying much.
Well, I didn't even get to the point, but this you gotta assume this to be true to get the fucking point. There's a whole theory, but you're disagreeing with the very fucking core of the theory. So how?
There's nothing there.
Basically, that's like I'm telling him like E equals MC square, and the moment I begin this, I say E, this is for energy, and he goes, but wait a second, there's no energy, so I can't even get to the MC square because he doesn't even let me get there because he doesn't.
Not random thing to happen, which makes it not random.
Yes. Okay. I agree with you. So let's say that every possible outcome of these gazillion outcomes has a reason. That's exactly one reason.
So
let's say in one case.
And it means
it's
that the
random.
simulation that we are living right now is already predetermined.
Things are contradicting.
See, Ricardo wants to get there, but you won't let me. No, you understand? All of these, let's say the things that cause these things to happen are irrelevant here. So I don't even know why I need to discuss them
because they're
with you because it's a mathematical model.
It's not true. Whatever you get
to. I need to find it because this is.
You guys are telling the same thing, but
no, but Stefcho, I don't know why he wouldn't look for it, because if I don't agree, I would Google it on my own side and see like, oh wait, let me see, but he wants me to find it.
I'm just saying, man.
I can't even fucking find it because it was in a video, and I can't play the video right now to you.
There are all kinds of videos.
So I'm gonna find an article that says the same thing that the video said.
That we are living in a
Ricardo,
simulation
meanwhile,
that's already predetermined.
Can you tell me, Ricardo, what's the difference between women and men in Portugal? While I find it. Just,
what the fuck?
Yeah, let me play something for you. Yeah, go ahead, tell us. And I'm going to look for entropy in the Wikipedia.
I have no idea what to say right now.
He usually does commercials or something.
Commercial. So I think you should go to Portugal. Because Lisbon is quite a city. Amazing.
When were you last there?
Full of entropy.
Do you often go there?
No, I don't know. I go there twice a year at least, so far. But I've only been here 1 year, so it doesn't really count. I still need to live here more.
How long have you been before Bogi a bit? Right?
Sorry.
No,
guys.
I was living there for all my life, and then I decided to move to Malta.
And you lived in Lisbon the whole time, or somewhere else?
Lisbon all the time. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't even know if the rest of it is part of the simulation or just on the map.
Exactly. No.
You don't know what is the resolution level in which it would just be like hitting a wall. Like maybe you try to go to like I don't know. Tell me a city in Portugal you've never been to.
Me?
Guimarães.
Guimarães. Okay, so you want to go to Guimarães, and on the way you just hit a wall. Guimarães. And on the way you just hit a fucking wall, and you can't get there. And there's like, and then remove that part from your brain, and you still chill.
What?
That's interesting.
But
so anyway, enough about the simulations. It's been 40 minutes.
All right, guys, it's time for a goddamn commercial break, bitch. Wait, we just fucking hear this. This was from Portugal. No, that's no. Oh, baby, I hate this lube. It always makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, bitch, stop eating it. Guys, every lube is different. Some of it you put in your ears. Some of it you put on your legs. Depending on the situation, depending on the guy. But our lubes are the best. Those are the edible boobs. Lubes. What? The edible lubes. Excuse me. I also think I have lung cancer, by the way. I don't know. I'm coughing like a bitch. I don't know. I'm coughing like someone who smoked for 70 years. And I think it's those air conditioners in Malta. I thought. But now it's winter, so it doesn't make sense. In the winter, they're blowing hot fire in your throat, these fucking air conditioners. And you're led to believe by the fucking mass media hysteria and by the fucking simulation theory that it's supposed to be that. But, well, let me tell you. When you're the Neo... So I want to just finish my story. If you're Neo...
Back to the simulation.
In this simulation in which there's no people, no points of generation, as you call them, whatever you call them, then once you get down to this code, you can be... Like, all the fucking fish can be just one fish. Or you can be like the whole computer. You know, like you can be a talking, walking computer, you know? And then that computer contacts Kieran and is paying him with PayPal or some other very secure payment way, you know, in the best case scenario, online banking. Then he gets the money, he goes, orders some shit, comes together. The computer gives him some fucking instructions on the screen. Put this, assemble this. That sends him a Gundam. But this Gundam has a fucking brain. You hook it up to the computer, uploads the brain, and now the computer is a fucking Gundam, man. It's walking around, talking to Kieran, doing sexual favors and looking for all kinds of like business, shady. It's a fucking AI. It can do anything. Imagine the AI sex. It's the best sex ever. So that's what I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking how to make that fish suck my dick, basically. Ever since Windows XP, I was looking at the fucking screen, was thinking how to get that fish to one day suck my dick. So I had to backwards engineer it, assume I was in a simulation, just to feel, you know, connected to the fish. Ricardo, let's talk about, first of all, you. And then back to me, and then back to Stefcho.
Okay, I'll go for it.
Maybe we can... Yeah,
Go.
we can maybe start by doing something that we've been doing here for so long. And that thing is our goddamn hate of the week, bitches.
Hate of the week?
Hate of the week. Hate of the week.
Yes.
Every week, everyone hates something. So in this segment, we share the kind of thing that we hated this week the most. So what did you hate the most this week? As a guest, you go first, embarrass yourself, and then no matter what we do, it's going to be better than you.
Oh, wow. All right.
Okay, I'm here.
What did I...
Stefcho, we're doing hate of the week, by the way. Ricardo is first.
Yeah. What did I hate today?
No, this week. But it could be today.
This week?
No, it could be this minute.
Yeah, just
No, this week is actually easier.
What do you hate now?
This week is actually easier. No, I hated something this week, which was how fucking busy are usually the streets of
Oh, I thought,
Sliema.
how deep is your love? But you said how, you know, and then you
No,
ruined
it was the streets of Sliema.
The streets of Philadelphia.
streets?
But the Sliema street.
Especially the main streets, like Manuel de Meca.
in the Malta streets.
Yeah, in Malta, yeah. They're just very busy, very busy.
What do you mean? Like people are
Very
in
good.
hurry or?
No, pretty much they are so busy that sometimes there is not enough space and they just go inside up the sidewalks and you need to dodge them pretty much. So you need to dodge cars.
God damn it. Let's applaud this. This was a really good hate of the week. Kieran, you go now. You tell us one thing very short. What do you fucking
I'm a very
absolutely
simple
hate?
guy.
What do you hate, man?
No, that was nice. Hate.
Yeah, it's enough. But listen, no, I'm sorry. I thought it was short, man. When you kept going, people who do what?
I think there's more than two genders.
God damn it. He just triggered me into another hour. This is what you did. I just knew to tap onto him, what was it, by the end of this hour? So he just ignites this conversation and just moves it to a whole nother
Ricardo
dimension.
Also, like also get concerned about this one. I mean, yeah, kind of not exact hate. I just get concerned.
About the streets.
Yeah, about people.
But what do you prefer now to get concerned about? On one hand, we have a great, absolutely wonderful hour to discuss about
Get concerned about do we have another beer or not about something bad.
True.
Okay, so let's talk about the fucking genders. So
Stefan knows.
Yeah.
no, no, but seriously, that's a good point. And on that, I don't know, man. People who think there are more genders, it's kind of like, I don't know.
But it's kind of it's commonly assumed. It's general that smart people don't approve of this. It's normal, I think. This is not exactly hate. Like everyone hates this.
But wait a second, you don't want us to talk about this,
sure, I mean, I guess we can. But I mean, everyone talks about it. Like, it's kind of obvious.
But what do you want, man? What do you really want in your heart? Within your heart, how do you identify as someone who
like
wants to talk
wars,
about it, or
like
someone
saying I fucking hate war? We can talk about how bad it is. I mean, obviously bad. Like everyone knows.
About war?
For example.
But this is the thing. I mean, war is good to discuss because of its impact. And this thing, when you talk about it, you think it doesn't have an impact, but it might have an impact. Might be like this. Might be part of something like this postmodern and fucking identity politics, and then that would lead to another war. So we shouldn't discredit it.
I don't know.
Okay, listen. Let me get back to something I wanted to talk about last week. You didn't have time about House of Cards.
Oh yeah, what happened there?
Yeah, so do you guys watch House of Cards?
Well, the thing is, we had a
Never watched
situation here in Bulgaria.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did about this. What off news
We
story?
had all kinds of things like protests here and that, and then we had this woman who got killed. This insane person that said like blah blah blah, all these unimportant things. Now they got this woman killed and everyone is silent. But before that they were like really loud about all these other.
Yeah.
I don't know, and then
You wanna talk
Facebook
about
erased her post, right? And she complained.
Yeah, okay. But this is not exactly... I mean, let me back up in this sense. So, we're talking about, this person who was outraged by this crime that happened. The crime, again, a guy killed a baby and killed the baby's mother, who was his partner before. I think they were, separated or divorced or something. So the guy kills his wife and his baby, basically. And... the story maybe or the point that this woman's trying to make is that this is a remarkable story in the sense of how unremarkable it is, because he seems to be a normal family guy, normal kind of traditional, all the, I don't know, the traits that stereotypically Bulgarian people should have to be a good family man. And all of a sudden he does this and no one talks about it. Like, he doesn't get shit on as much as other people get shit on for other stuff. And then she starts listing things, like she starts listing, these gay people that get bashed and transgender people and women and all this, the whole fucking rhetoric with the patriarchy punishing people. So her statement had 2 points. One was maybe relevant. The other one was totally unrelated. And she starts basically, criticizing people for not, I don't know, fighting the supposed homophobia in the Bulgarian media or something like this, or other stories, being more aggressive, and incites people for some sort of aggression. Because there are some words specifically like, where are you? What were you doing? Why not protest now? Like, why not protest? When you say, this is inciting people for protest. So that's why Facebook, I think, correctly removed this post. I mean, I think if someone reported it, let's put it this way, then
it's kind of related to the Me Too movement, like it's all this hype for.
Yeah, but they remove it for another reason. Actually, they not remove it for the fact that she's like siding with that, but that she's too aggressive. So I agree with the removal. Okay, there's some principles, like they have their terms and conditions. You shouldn't incite for okay, fine, remove it, whatever. I agree, fine. But then what happens is. There's an article, posting this, that this was removed. And again, kind of the article was a made-up article. Basically, the whole article was a screenshot of the post so you could read it again. And I think it was a very kind of personal... I think, because I know this woman that posted originally, she's been to all kinds of shows and she's kind of knows journalists and stuff. So she might just have a friend at Off News and be like, hey, listen, what happened to me? And that friend just like made a quick article so that they can just get it back on Facebook, basically. So they got back on Facebook, and I know it's back there. So there's a lot of shitty moments in this story. It's a whole shit fest, but I think there are many problems, and the media creating a fake story out of this is also a problem. And then there was, personally, I found about this story, excuse me, from another woman who reposted that article, and she was Agatha Christie, not Agatha Christie, Teresa Christie or something like this. So this is this woman that for 15 years lives now in the States, and she was like whatever active journalist or something, which is all great. But I think her problem is that being in the States for a long time, she kind of changed and skewed her ideas to match that kind of bipolar situation in the States with liberal and conservative, which I don't think really applies to Bulgaria. Because like anything, even when you talk about racism even, I think it's a completely different story in Bulgaria and in the States, for example. And even the word, like if you call a racist, would mean one thing in the States, another thing in Germany in the 40s, right? I mean, you know what I mean? You can call someone who was throwing bodies in Auschwitz, for example, in the pit to burn them, that was a fucking racist, right? Even though they used some of the stronger inmates for that. So let's say it was some of the guys working in the gulags were Nazis. Now they call people who just call someone the N-word a racist.
It's related like to the Me Too movement. It's about this Facebook dramatizing fame thing that everyone thinks everyone cares and actually do.
Yeah.
So the thing is, that's what I meant. It's kind of related to House of Cards because it's everywhere. But anyway.
Yeah, so the House of Cards thing, you haven't seen it. Kieran, did you see it? House of Cards? The Kevin Spacey thing on Netflix?
No, I just never.
Congrats. You don't need to listen to the society, and you don't need to follow everything. Congratulations. This was really a whole test for Kieran. The whole thing was leading up so I can ask him this question, and now he just got 10 points for that. But no, my point is this. So this was a really good show. Actually, I think it was a remake of a British show from way ago, 60s or something. But, like with the changes in the political system, according to whatever country it was shot in. But there's still a book,
right?
And there's a book, exactly.
No,
right.
But wasn't the book the first?
So,
wasn't the book the first?
Yes.
After? Oh.
Yeah, but it really doesn't matter in the quantum world because that direction can change it anyway. But I mean, this is why I started with quantum physics. So every time I can use them now in the future. So when you say you're a dick, I'll say, well, listen, I'm a reverse dick in the quantum field. It's entangled with my balls, so it's really long. Or some shit like this, it makes sense eventually. Right. So anyhow, so in the House of Cards story, we know that there was the famous political drama on Netflix that Kevin Spacey was expelled for, and Kevin Spacey was really the first guy who got the boot after the Me Too, in the beginning really of the Me Too movement, and after this, everyone else was already firing people, but he was really the first one. Mm-hmm. And I remember this, and back in now, ever since these stories develop in a way that they keep adding new shit. And we kept learning new shit about Kevin Spacey, so eventually we learned that, sure.
It's kind of hypocritical because they just fire the people. They don't return the money that they won because of them, They just fire the guy, but listen, we'll still keep the money we made with him. They won't give it to charity.
No, I agree with you. It's a nice advertising for the show.
Exactly.
It didn't start with the Kevin Spacey one as well.
No, it was one of the first, by the way. It was one of the first.
No, but it was created based on the inequality
for example,
of women in the employment.
When they fired.
No, it happened with the women accusing men in the past for like using their I don't know, masculinity for power.
Yes. So but it was not only that.
It's stupid. It's
But
very
yeah.
bad. Like,
so anyway, so Kevin,
when they
his
fired
story,
him, they said we don't want to do anything with him. It's like he doesn't relate to us at all, right? That's why they fired him. But
then they kind of used his image.
They kept the money that they won because of him.
Of course, agree. But also, stupid. I mean, you can say that on the average case is the opposite, in which, well, they kicked him and he was the main character, so now everyone has to go home and there's like a team of 250 people that are employed on the show, right? So that's why they came back to basically keep paying salaries, and they did one more last season, which they might have done more if he was still back. So you can say that he kind of ruined the show, not helped them. But I mean, it's arguable either way. But anyhow,
no, of course he never helped him. He shouldn't have done that in the first place.
No,
that's why he got kicked out.
But okay, so let's just remind us, because there was a lot of shit with him. But I remember really the very first thing that they said about him, and I remember how even then that thing I think to me was not. I mean, not so incredibly terrible that 30 years later he had to be fired. I mean, let me remind you of the story. I even had a show back then, and I said it on the show because I was like so struck by it. So basically, Kevin Spacey, back in the 80s, Kevin is 27 years old, and he's doing a Broadway play with a bunch of other actors, and this kid who is 17 at the time, the kid is gay. Kevin Spacey is gay, who he admitted afterwards, of course, a big mistake that he did at the very same moment. But I mean, everyone knew for many years he was gay. So Kevin Spacey is gay. This kid is gay. They doing a fucking Broadway musical together in the 80s. I mean, whatever. And then Kevin Spacey one day, who at this point everyone's saying he was abusing alcohol, was kind of struggling. He calls the kid and was like, "Hey, I have a party in my apartment in New York. Want to come over after the play?" The kid goes, "Okay." So he goes there. And there's not a party there, but it's just Kevin Spacey drunk in his apartment. The kid still comes in, and is like, and then, they hang around, whatever. And then Kevin, this is the kid remembering this 30 years later, saying, Kevin, at this point, he just took me on his shoulder like a fucking bag of potatoes, took me to the bedroom, threw me on the bed. And I'm like, literally, I'm reading this. I'm fucking shitting my pants. I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen now? I'm starting sweating. It's like, let's take a break. I want to go eat a banana. I want to read something about string theory. I come back, I open this, and that's the end of the story, man. That's the end of the story. There's nothing else. The kid says afterwards he just fell asleep or whatever. He left. Nothing happened after. Nothing happened before. That was it. 30 years later, this kid, who's openly gay, says, "Oh, you know what? I have a problem with this one time." And he was drunk. I understand if he says, "Listen, I don't fucking remember." I would buy this story. Like if he just said, "Listen, I was so fucking drunk, I don't remember." Right? He says, "Oh, in case I did something bad, I'm sorry, but I don't remember." That sort of thing. So even then, I remember this was like, okay, this is pretty shitty, but fuck, man. I mean, really, this would destroy his career now after so many years of being a great actor and all this. So, and then, I was like, I felt that I needed to watch this final season just to see what's going to happen. And I thought it was going to be bad, but I didn't even believe how bad it was going to be and how it was all really made around the Me Too movement. The whole season, really. Everything was around. There was so many cringy moments, man. I felt so bad. I mean, the story is like his wife who... survives him, Claire Underwood, she was the vice president when he was alive, so now she becomes automatically the president, so that she's the first female president, because of course they kill him. I mean, how else do they dispose of the character? Kill him. So then she becomes president, and then at some point she fires everyone, the whole cabinet, and she hires all women. I was like, this was so stupid, because this show is so well written otherwise, and then all of a sudden, every careful thing, every person being fired or killed or then in the White House is like a big deal, and then it was just like a cut, and she opens the door, and it's a door of like a whole Congress of women, and it didn't show how she chose them, where they were, how she made those deals. Anyhow,
the show is just stupid then.
It's stupid, but here's where it's even worse than stupid, because that's stupid, but it was actually mean, because what happened was they wanted to use the whole Kevin Spacey thing, and not just like, oh, he died, whatever. They wanted to shit on his corpse. Man, I mean, there were moments in which they literally went back in time and wrote moments in like some prehistoric past before the first season, where they would affect the story as if Claire from the very start, she didn't love him. Like she actually had another boyfriend before she married him, and she was happy with him, but then she decided it was smart to be with him. Like why? Like there was 5 seasons of fucking love between them. True love, and now they're like, well, actually, surprise, she never really loved him. So now I should feel sorry for her instead of feeling so sorry for him that she was so convincing at lying. But anyway, so she didn't love him. She was a victim. He was a prick ever since he was 5. Whatever. All this thing like shitting on his grave the whole fucking season. This was disgusting. This is really like as if you want to watch a Superman movie, and they kill the character or whatever, the character who plays Superman raped some kids in the 80s, whatever, and then they fire him and they get like a Latino Superman with a mustache and stuff, and they go, well, you know what happened? Well, I was
that's why
flying
I
around
don't
and
like
this
these shows.
mustache
Whenever
came
like
on my
this,
mouth.
They
and,
always try to make everyone happy. It's kind of not very...
I don't know, man. It's crazy.
It's not very
But I just wanna make
sincere.
very
It's not
quick
sincere
commercial.
because they want more money.
Just listen.
It is
There's
not,
a listen.
it is
Do you
not
hear this?
sincere at all. That's the thing.
Do you hear this? There's a commercial coming.
But I just said my.
All right, it's here. Listen up. God damn it! You're ruining every commercial.
It's true, man. It's true. It's
Hate
not
of the week. I should have
the
said I
whole
hate Stefcho
thing.
this week. He destroyed my commercial right now.
Yeah, I
Do you
don't.
want
hate
another commercial, or is this gonna be the end of it?
you. I don't hate you. Don't worry.
Well, listen, if you like Portugal, you're gonna love Portuguese Superman. This summer in the cinema, when the normal Superman is dead because he raped someone in 1980, we have a Portuguese Superman. His name is Ricardo. He comes from the planet of what was the planet? Was it? What was the real? What was the? No one really knows because it's a Portuguese secret. All right, that was a pretty long one, man. That didn't end. Jesus. Fuck.
That was.
Yes.
Wow.
How is
Listen up, man.
How is Superman in Spanish?
Superman. How is Superman in Spanish? Why would you know? Because
Super-Homem.
It's Portuguese, you fucking moron.
No, but I get it. It's fine. No worries. It's o Super-Homem.
Wait.
That's how it is.
That's your question, man. You help me out. You're the co-host.
Sobre
Ask something
humano.
else.
Anyway.
No, that would be. Yeah, it would be superhuman mostly. If it's
Oh
Superman,
yeah, Google autocorrected
as it's
me.
supposed to be,
Wait,
it would be
Google
Super-Homem.
autocorrected me. Super hombre.
Hombre would be in Spanish. Yeah,
Super hombre.
exactly.
That's the Spanish.
Yeah, that's the Spanish version.
You want to hear me play a song for you? Listen up. This is my new solo. All right, thank you. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress.
That is an amazing
Broken
song.
tears.
It's not really finished. Oh shit! Shit! Those are the cops when the cops are chasing you at Most Wanted. You know when the cops stop chasing. Where was it? Oh shit! I wanna bet. All right, you see the fucking cops. Oh my god, we gotta find a green zone and go. Get in the green zone. You will cool down, bitch. Oh god damn it, my BMW's cooling off, bitch. No, the cops are back. Now. Oh shit, now the chase is going on, bitch. Listen. The fucking chase, they're chasing me. I gotta go fly under one of those water things so the water falls down on the cop. Yeah.
Alright, that was
I just looked for it for a while.
a very nice game.
Yeah,
I liked
what? Oh, I loved it, man.
It was
Have you
one
played
of the best? Yes.
Most Wanted, the old one?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Fuck,
it.
man.
Underground 1, 2.
But I preferred Underground 2.
Underground 2, yeah.
The second one for
Jesus.
sure.
That was with the
Exactly.
Riders in the Storm.
Yeah.
Riders on the storm.
Man, there were so many great bands there in that soundtrack. You know the one that I wanna make a tattoo? I first heard it there, then I realized it's them. So it's
All right.
Need for Speed.
You know, old car games had those fucking the best songs, man. Not just the Need for Speed. Like other.
FIFA 2002, man.
Well, that's
It had
not a
the-
car game.
No, it's not a car
Card
game,
games.
but it has one of the best musics ever.
Yeah. Great one. But
No, but that would be Gran Turismo, for example. It has good songs as well.
I'm working on this.
Hey,
other
also
song. Listen up.
GTA. You know what song GTA hit? You know?
GTA had so many, man.
You
Come
know?
on.
You know?
GTA had
You know
so
what I'm talking
many.
about? You know? Bogi, where is
Which ones?
But which GTA? San
I
Andreas?
don't
5?
know
Yeah.
the song. Come on, man. There's one song. Out of Touch, man. Come on, man.
That was right. That was from there, right? From San Andreas. Yes, you're right. You're out of touch. You're out of touch. No, the first one was reach. You're out of reach. You're out of touch. No, what was it?
No, it was
Wait.
out of touch. Yeah.
You're out of touch.
I'm out of time.
You're out of time, but you're not here when you're not around. Yeah, all right. I got it, bitch. I mean, I don't hear the fucking applause because I got it. It was hard. It was a fucking long walk down memory lane. This fucking, was it Breach? Was it Breach? Was it what?
We played the song, remember? We played it
whole-
once. In front of people.
We played it once.
There's a video on YouTube. You can find it.
There's a video on YouTube, bitch. If you're there, I'm talking to my ex.
You see,
you
that
dare
was
go
an
to YouTube.
entanglement, man. This video just appeared.
God damn it, you're right.
It wasn't there like 10 seconds ago. God damn it. Jesus.
But listen to this. Today on the book show, we're going to discuss the book English Dictionary by Oxford. On page 765, we see the word masturbatory. Masturbatory. That's a noun. It means something related to masturbations, I guess. I don't know. The text is blurred because there was some liquid on that page of the dictionary. So I can't really finish reading. That was all for this week. The book show. So as you know, that's how we're doing this thing here. How is it over there, by the way? You know how they used to do these shows, and every time there was a connection, because it was such a big deal that there would be a connection between like people in different countries on on TV shows. Like, how is it out there in that distant country of yours where we see you through satellite connection? Whatever. And they would like look at them and be like, "You fucking see it at the screen, you bitch." I mean, it's a 1 second distance, but come on, what the fuck? But then, how is it over there? I don't, whatever. So how is it, Stefcho? How is it in Bulgaria?
I thought it was the UK.
How is what exactly?
You thought it was the UK? Why did you think it's the UK?
Your British accent.
My British accent.
Yes.
Oh.
After the show, I'm gonna tell you what's the difference between British accent and American, and Bulgarian American. We're gonna need some help. So, before Stefcho, tell us something now. You had a hate of the week last week that you didn't talk about. What was it?
What
Stefcho?
was it? Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I thought you died for a
no.
second.
Oh, you know what I hate? It happened to me actually today. Fucking hell. These
What
do you
happened to
have them in Malta because you have them a lot in Bulgaria. They're these middle-aged people that work at some desk or something that I have to go.
Middle-aged people.
Yeah, like for example, behind some desk. That you have to go
We're
to.
talking about
Like where if you
Divorce
go
from Lord
to
of the
pay your
Rings?
tax somewhere or not tax but anyway, if you go to the post office, there's middle-aged person
yes.
there. And
Middle-aged
you have
person.
to tell her like, give me my letter, like I have a letter here, And for some reason she's really, really, really angry at you, like really angry. And she will
Really
scream,
angry.
like ruin your
Yes.
day. Like what the fuck? What have I done?
Yes. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, all the
Did
time.
that
And there
happen
are
to you?
all kind of people behind this that I'm really nice to, because I'm always nice to people.
Mhm.
And she starts like
Always.
screaming and exploding. Like obviously her day is ruined, someone made her angry, and she takes it out on me.
Yes.
I fucking hate this, man. Why?
Yes.
What's the point?
What's the point? This is a website for women who hate men. It's an organization for middle-aged women who their only purpose in their lives is to make Stefcho miserable. They hide in plain sight, and they communicate between each other to know where his location is. The moment he gets out of the house and goes to a store, one of them appears behind a counter and offers to ruin his life. He doesn't know that she's connected to all the other fucking elderly women demons, shemans, who want to ruin his life. But hell yeah, now he knows that's the fucking truth, bitch. So what are you gonna do about this, Stefcho? Yes, that's a Facebook ad, so it's super personal, so you see your name.
Fuck, I laughed for so long that I don't remember what I laughed at.
I didn't even hear you laughing, but thanks.
Yeah, I was trying to hide.
So is it
in the commercial? I have to cut it afterwards and compile it, you know. I don't want to
compile it afterwards?
cut it. I mean, you want to make a compilation
I
of
dig
all
your- I
the
dig your
commercials, right?
Science. I mean, I like those science terms that you use sometimes, like compile,
Science.
like
How?
science. Yeah, you use the word science.
What the fuck?
So, Ricardo, how is this with the time? Because I know that you're
Almost, yes.
almost. Okay, because Ricardo has, of course, his managers. They're calling him for his next movie role. You know, when he makes interviews like this, because he's an actor, he's paid to make interviews, of course. He comes in, but his managers are always waiting for him. And they book him, of course, and immediately after this show, he does the Late Show, the famous Maltese Late Show, where they eat potatoes and laugh. And that's when he's going to be there, the show, that he's going to go to the Late Show in Malta, which is on a whole nother level, because that's in Dingelingekiefs. So it has the best reception, and that's why it's in another level. And so you do all these night shows, and that's how you get your money at night. By doing commercials for these shows, for different products, of course. You're certainly wearing at the moment, what is this, Prada? Is this Dolce & Prada? Or what was it?
It is. Dolce Gabbana.
Dolce Gabbana is currently wearing by Ricardo. This is one of the products that you
Correct.
receive money.
Of course.
You're being paid how often? Is this monthly? Is this weekly?
Daily.
What are we talking about in terms of taxes? Is this 20%? Is this 19%? How much are you paying off of that?
I get 200 per piece.
So how much of that does your actual family get? Also, do you need to pay for children that you may have conceived in the past?
$1 each.
$1 each of your children. This is, of course, for parental expenses. And then you do all these late shows, and then the next day you go to work, and all of a sudden, you're a whole nother level person. Now you're a very attractive young man. Late night, you were an elderly kind of looking. I look at you now. You're in this mold. You're very old. I see wrinkles on your face. I see grease. I see some insects from last summer that because they're so wrinkled, you need to use some tools, maybe some multiple men using multiple tools to stretch out those stretch marks on your face so you can take out all the insects.
Correct.
So this is this is as much as we can discuss with Ricardo. What about you, Stefcho?
What about me? What?
Man, we were in a very interesting discussion. I want to ask you something, Stefcho. May I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that was my question. That's okay. But no, I'm kidding. My actual question. You see, that was my lung cancer speaking through me, through the coughs. What I was going to ask you is, have you any idea how to integrate your Jungian shadow?
What is the Jungian shadow?
Jungian shadow is the shadow that you see at 4 o'clock if Jung is looking east. No, okay. The Jungian shadow is the shadow is one of the Jungian. Carl Jung is one of the archetypes that Jung envisioned that you have in your collective unconscious. And so I was watching this really nice lecture Jordan Peterson did, and he talked about how to integrate the Jungian shadow. So he says, in order to understand the Jungian shadow, you first need to understand your persona. And the persona is the version of you that you display to other people to be likable by them. So sometimes it could be a bigger version of you to impress. Sometimes it could be a smaller. Sometimes even could be a negative kind of thing, like when you're making your persona weaker than yourself, so you feel sorry for yourself if other people are rude to you. So, but one of the versions of the persona is this bigger, stronger kind of inner tiger that protects you, that attacks, lashes out at people to get everything for you. So this is the shadow. And the way to integrate it is to understand and to know the potential of it for danger and for harm, because if you don't integrate it, this is something we were talking about today. If you don't integrate it, you have then that lashing out moment when you might become really dangerous, or if you've never had the chance to use it, you will then be too weak and become a victim of some other regime, like the totalitarian regime, because then they'll get you and you won't have the strength to resist because there's so many people and it's such a big movement. And if you have the shadow integrated, you would have the power to resist, and that's very interesting. So at the end, you end up stronger as a monster rather than being, protecting yourself, integrating your own shadow. Does it make sense? I don't know. But certainly it, I think, deserves an applause. Stefcho, are you there?
Maybe it makes sense in some other universe.
Well, every time, whatever I say, you take it down and you fucking shot me in the face. What?
Oh, yeah.
Why did I do this? Sometimes I do stupid things. You know what I mean? This is a commercial for commercials. Commercials is a new way to advertise and to get money. So there are all kinds of commercials. Sometimes they're fake ones, they're on radio. Sometimes they're real ones. Sometimes they're fake ones, kind of like Inception. They're within each other in some fake radios. But commercials are always great. They're a great way. They're great way. So like them because they're for you, bitch.
Brainwashed.
Man, the worst part is of this is of course the lung cancer, because I probably will die. Okay, there's just some beer redistribution going on. What are you drinking, Stefcho?
Actually, I found the best beer.
Thanks. Oh shit.
It's called Primator Weissen. That's what I'm drinking.
Primator Weissen? What is that?
It's Weiss beer.
That.
That's
Weizen. Yeah, you were a fan of your favorite until as far as I remember, was Stolično.
Yeah, but I found
Weiss,
a better
right?
one. It's Primator Weiss.
This is the new one? Is it a Bulgarian one?
From Czech.
Oh, nice. But do they sell it in Bulgaria?
Yeah, and I keep seeing it more and more. I first drank
nice.
it in Czech and now they're bringing it here.
Shit. So how would you describe it
It's
to
like
someone
Weiss,
uninitiated?
like Stolično. Who the fuck knows Stolično? I mean, all our fans, they're zero, but still none of them are from Bulgaria, so they won't know what's Stolično.
Man, did you see that comment? By the way, we need to address comments, but did you see the comment that today the guy wrote on the second episode? There was a guy who...
Primator Weiss.
Yeah, who wrote in
it's like
in Bulgarian.
Stolično, but like Weiss beer, but a bit more subtle. And it's kind of has a really subtle banana aroma. That's why I like.
Came back to the subject. I started talking.
So I answered it. Now I can continue.
What happened?
No, I'm just describing.
Yeah, sorry. So, so I was saying that I forgot what I was saying, but at some point I remember that you came back and you kind of interrupted me. What was I saying? Got this stuff. Comment?
Oh yeah, comment.
Ooh, god damn it! Right about the comment on YouTube. So the guy wrote in Bulgarian was like, "Is this two Bulgarian guys just talking in English, pretending and whatever?" So I wrote like this super big email.
No, the answer is no.
Yes.
Now it's no.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not. But I wrote, yes, of course. How happy are we that we finally found someone who discovered this secret and exposed us, so that we can suffer now, So or something like it. I mean, it was better, but wrote something like this in response. And I feel sad that people don't appreciate how much we work for them. We work for your people. Let me play you a commercial. But first, Ricardo is going to tell you about his childhood.
My childhood? It was a pretty okay childhood. Yeah, I liked it.
What did you do? What games did you play?
Oh, the video games.
The outside games.
Ooh.
The whole catalog.
The
whole catalog of
that part is not okay.
Nintendo.
Okay.
Well, no. I mean, as a kid, I would do the regular soccer, football. Actually,
The regular soccer, not the.
Football.
What is shot?
Handball, basketball,
No, but like when you have like three
Throwing
friends in
balloons.
front of the.
riding the bike and
No,
doing
but if
shit.
you have like
Just
three
randomly
or four friends,
destroying stuff.
like 3-4 friends, you don't have a ball, and you're just three or three.
No.
Then
no,
if you're out,
no.
but you're out three of you. Like what game do you play then?
You what? Out of Rio?
No, if you're like very small amount
Are you
of like
talking about
you're
dodgeball?
three kids, like 3 kids in front of the door. What game did you play?
Tickets in front of the door.
No, 3.
There are
No,
tickets
kids, children, 3 children,
Children.
and you're one of them.
Children.
You're a child.
You're one of them. You're one of them.
Yeah, and you're in Portugal, right?
And you're in Portugal. You're in Portugal. I'm sorry. I'm
So
just.
what's the game
trying
that you
to
played
understand.
when you were outside? You can't play soccer because it's for many people. You're just 3.
Can't play soccer.
Yeah, because soccer is for 20 people.
Ah, we're only 3. No, of course,
So
no.
what do you
Then
play?
we would just randomly walk around the neighborhood
You
and...
didn't have other games.
No, we would just... Man, we would still play even if we were only 3, you know? It would just
But what did you play?
randomly chill with the ball and
Oh.
skate or...
Because
I
we had
don't
some
know.
specific games. I remember. Like drawing with chalk on the ground and jumping around it. I don't know. Some shit like that.
Jerk.
Holy shit, no, but that's way before. No,
No,
then
that's
we
what I-
had
Racism, man.
No, then yeah. No, then we had tag, the hide and seek, and the
Did you have any
sort of dodgeball, but
Portuguese
without the
traditional-
ball, kind of.
Portuguese traditional game?
No, man, we did. I have no idea. No, I don't think so.
We had this called
The only
national-
one that I remember
national
was
ball.
the.
I mean, Cuevano. I don't know if it's
National
that-
ball.
maybe it is national. Maybe no one else plays.
National. What?
We call it
Did you
national
have like
ball.
the human football? Did you have like the human
Yeah,
football
course.
kind of thing?
No, I mean, yeah, whatever.
That one was the our one of the games that I played the most.
Mhm.
But
One of the games he played the most.
but when we were 3, we were pretty just we were doing other things, man.
Other things, come on, man.
Things?
Make a commercial on other things.
Oh, wrong. other things. Sure. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. No, sorry. 3, 2. Let's go right now. No, sorry. 3, 2, 4, 8. No. Okay. What was it? Commercial about what? Other things. Okay. Just so you know, this is a commercial about other things. How do you know this? Well, if you listen to this podcast so far, you should probably fucking know it, you bitch. That it's not about these things, not about those things, it's about other things. There are things too. Come on, man. Don't discriminate those things. Poor things. Not. We talk about other things. You understand? They're not poor, they're not happy. They're themselves. Just be yourself like other things. They're not smart things, they're not stupid things. They're other things. That is about deep as I can get. But remember, before you go deep, use protection.
That's always good advice.
All right. What did you think about this commercial of other things?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it was nice.
This time you had actually a product that you developed.
yeah.
into.
Give me some sort of fucking
the other two
challenges,
were
product
just
challenges.
laughing.
Give me product challenges now.
Challenges.
Well, you don't want to give me no challenges.
Uh,
God damn it.
like what?
Well, you need to set your own goals, man. It depends on what were your goals yesterday.
What were your goals yesterday?
That's what you need to think about.
Did you have goals yesterday? Maybe yesterday was simulation. Maybe it didn't exist.
Yes, I did.
Let's
How
go
do you
back
know?
to the simulations.
Yes, I
That's
did.
all
And
that
as a matter of fact, are we talking
Maybe we
about
just
our
got
goals
created,
from
like, at
yesterday?
this second. Boom.
Exactly. Respawn. Let's go.
Just hold this for a second. Because it so happens that I have a song just about that.
Oh,
And
a song is coming up.
it goes a little something like this. Are we talking about what? Simulations?
Yes, correct. Simulations. Go for it.
Simulations of my nations. Simulations of my nations. But not only of nations, those simulations of our our interpretations of nations. What? It doesn't make no sense. Hell yeah. Those simulations make the fucking diarrhea. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Hell yeah. You wanna hear some more about this diarrhea? Diarrhea. Simulation diarrhea.
You know, I wrote a sentence from your song.
Simulation diarrhea, bitch.
I wrote another one which I'll
Yes.
include in my book. It doesn't make no sense. It's genius.
But wait,
Anyway.
I don't hear it.
What
It
is it?
doesn't make no
What
sense.
is it?
That's
What
the
was it?
sentence. It doesn't make no sense.
What made no sense?
That's the
What
sentence.
Read
no
it, read
sense.
it, read it.
Which
I'm
sentence?
reading
Read it.
Okay, I start now.
Read it.
It doesn't
Read
make
it.
no sense. And that's the sentence.
That was my sentence?
Yes. It's great.
Well, I love it. So? What should I cry now?
I'm just
Should I-
saying I'll include it,
should
I'll
I-
include it in my book. I'm writing a book too, you know.
But I can't remove it from the past. It was
No.
I already said it.
No, I'm just saying I'll include it, not remove it. I'll include it in my book.
No.
What the fuck?
I know what you said.
Connection.
What? How about a
great
little bit of that? Do you have to go?
Soon.
All right. Fucking showing me signs like fucking making airplanes in the air. He's got to leave, and then you have to go. Yeah, soon. Well,
Soon.
fucking going, bitch.
Soon.
Listen, let's hear a quick commercial. Ricardo had a long history of affairs. Want to hear more lies? Go to ricardolies.com. For instance, Ricardo killed 7 people. That's a lie. He killed only 6. Ricardo actually is bald. Whoa, no shit. Everyone knows him. Yeah, it turned itself off. That was my aquarium. My aquarium fucking scared Ricardo. Like,
What were we talking
happened?
about? I
My
forgot
aquarium
what to talk about. I opened Google.
about ricardolies.com.
No,
It's a
before
website
that, why
where you
did I
can learn all
open
kinds of
Gmail?
lies about Ricardo.
What the fuck am I looking for here?
What?
Oh yeah, I wanted to add it to my
Gmail?
book. Yeah. That's why I keep my book things.
You wanted to add it to your book
Yes, yes.
and you open Gmail?
Yeah, now I remember.
It's
yeah.
not a. It's a.
Okay. Now it's okay. You can continue. Wait, I'm calm now.
Man, those pictures of us, those are great.
Pictures?
Which ones?
The ones that people are gonna see when they listen to this.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. for
Maybe
sure.
we can mention what happens there. The process is called making a picture. It's very complicated. You learn as a kid. You take usually a stick. Sometimes as a kid, it might be your poo, the first effort in painting, and you start smearing around with your baby hands. They're very short, so you often.
You remember the Terry motherfucker? You remember him? He was amazing.
Yeah, I
My
remember
God.
that.
You should make more.
And you interrupted a
But
very
do you
long
have the
story.
do you have
I
the
started
originals?
with- somewhere back in Tecno,
God damn it!
probably. Yeah,
You should
maybe. I
find
don't know.
them.
You going? Well, just say bye and
What?
we'll talk for 5 more
Oh,
seconds.
You have to
and-
leave.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, you gotta go.
I do. It's 10:50. Sorry, guys.
10:50, which means it's time for a very quick song. Goes like this. No, actually it goes like this. This was a good episode. Ricardo was our guest, but he has to leave 'cause it's 10:50. He has to go. Late night audio. He will go on the TV, yo, and listen up, yo. He makes commercials, he gets paid, but also changes age. Just like the Quantums, he was entangled. He remembered drove a smart, and just Stefcho got hit by one. How is this even possible? This universe. Oh, he has to go, but I'm still singing about the song while not letting him.
I think maybe you should just go. Is the door unlocked?
just should go.
I think I will do it.
Maybe you should
Yes.
just go.
Yeah, nice
Cheers,
meeting.
cheers, Steph. Nice to meet you, man.
Listen, guys, thank you. Write comments, man. Tell us what you think about this great episode, and do you want more? And we'll be back next week.